welcome you from our brand new video studio where Estonian Business School is going to have its information sessions for all the programs this year. Those sessions have been designed to provide you, our potential students, with a bit of insight on how we operate, who are the people responsible for the study programs, and what it actually takes to become a part of Estonian Business School family in one of the most digitalized entrepreneurial countries of the world. My name is Ante Liivet, and I'm the head of bachelor programs as well as the head of executive MBA program defense committee. Our session today should take for around an hour, so make yourself comfortable, enjoy your virtual stay with us, and feel free to ask all the questions you have. Write them down please in the chat rooms of Facebook or YouTube. We are glad to answer those questions right at the end of our session, after all the speakers have had a chance to let you know what they have prepared for. So may I briefly introduce you people who are going to be here with us today. We have Mike Franz Fahl, the head of MBA program. Hello, Mike. You just published an article on corporate governance. What is the biggest challenge for the corporate governance of the companies, what this COVID outbreak has posed on us?
COVID outbreak is everywhere very important. And as you know, without owners and ownership, business is not possible. So we have to know something about corporate governance. Otherwise, we haven't any business. And business, as you know, is the like the blood circulation of the economy.
Thank you, Mike. Ülane Vilumets is alumna of Estonian Business School. Hello, Ülane.
Hi.
Hi. You started your professional career as HR manager in a real estate company. What made you to change your mind and to make a shift towards becoming an entrepreneur?
I'm actually going to talk about that a little bit later, but mainly the lack of opportunities in that specific career.
Thank you so much. Katri Kerem is the head of our marketing and communication chairs and also the head of MA program. Hello, Katri. So, is that anyhow for you hard to cope with both, being the head of the chair and head of the program? How can you keep the balance between all the different courses in your program?
Mike.
Okay, hopefully Katri can join us a bit.
Sorry. Yes.
Oh, there you are.
Yes, so I wanted to say that it is a challenge to balance leading the department and staffing the courses, because as a program leader, of course, I would like to bring in the most exciting teachers from all over the world. But as a head of the department, I also need to be realistic. What are the opportunities of having all those super good teachers here in Estonia? So it's a constant challenge to find the balance and to find the optimum of getting the best teachers and somehow making it attractive for them also to come to teach at EBS.
Thank you so much, Katri. John Paul Broussard, hello.
Hey.
Hello. John, you have a long career. You started in US. Last place for you to stay was Finland before you decided to move to Estonia. Why do you consider Estonia to be the best place in the world to realize your intellectual and professional interests?
So there's a couple of factors really. I mean, the close proximity to, well, actual being in Europe, the actual mainland part, the good spot. That's one big one. Being very close and easily accessed. And one of the biggest advantages, I think, especially in Tallinn, is the airport. I don't think people realize how wonderful the Tallinn airport is. You can get to the gate, I mean, you can get to the airport half hour, 40 minutes before. You go to a big airport, you got to be there 2 hours before. So it's all about being global. It's all about having access. And the E-access here in Estonia, it's all about the E, and that's really very valuable.
Thank you so much, John. Lina Reimann is our head of admissions. Hello, Lina.
Hi.
Great to see you. Usually this admission process is quite a pain for an applicant. What makes applying to Estonian Business School an enjoyable process?
Thank you for the question. I think applying to EBS is actually quite simple. We have done everything step by step, and if you have any questions, you can always contact us. In that sense, we provide very one-to-one and person-to-person support when it's needed. So I guess I can assure you that applying to EBS is actually not that scary and not so difficult.
Thank you, Lina. All you are going to have a chance to speak up much more right after the brief introduction. As Mike put it, this COVID outbreak had an influence pretty much on everything. I kind of think that it also changed quite dramatically how we think it is a normal way to operate in the field of higher education. In Estonian Business School, we've been always tried to constantly improve our programs. So in many sense, the COVID outbreak gave an extra push. Those things what could have happened in many higher education institutions throughout the 10 years probably happen with a year or so. I consider around 3 changes to be extra important. First of all, of course, all the programs around the world are going to undergo digitalization process, and all the programs need to cope better with the different kind of needs lifelong learners may have. Then secondly, students tend to kind of a test drive all the programs more. So usually you guys don't like to enroll right away for a 2 or 3 years program, but instead you like to try out some smaller units of the program, like Nanodegrees maybe. And we have also recognized that MBA graduates with a knowledge on big data and artificial intelligence are in a very high demand. And all that is being borne in mind while in Estonian Business School we have implemented teaching in small study groups. International accreditors appreciate Estonian Business School's relationship and close contacts with the corporate world. We also try to be flexible in terms of organization, our studies, and as an international business school, we've been able to operate successfully on both sides of the Baltic Gulf in Tallinn and Helsinki from 2011 or already. Estonian Business School also enjoys a beautiful network of 60 partner universities worldwide, together with virtual learning capabilities. And of course, we very much appreciate our active alumni community, what hopefully you, dear guests, are able to enjoy right after the graduation from Estonian Business School. Now, may I kindly ask Mike to turn your mic back on, and Mike is going to let us know more about our MBA program and what do we expect from the applicants, and what are the desirable outcomes you may have as a graduate of the program. Mike, the floor is all yours.
Thank you. Here is your mic, and I'm going to speak a bit about the MBA program. Of course, all our master level and also other level programs are very high level and very digital and good. But I will now advertise a bit my program. This is the MBA. And I will start with why you should study on this program and who is studying there and who is teaching you, and also how we are going to learn something from this journey. The journey can take 1 year or 2 years. It depends. If you have already some previous master level studies behind of you, then it is even possible to do it in 1 year. So let's start with the question why. Why is a very hard question, and it is clear that we have to learn our whole life, and it is important that we are able to understand what is around of us and also then take actions to this. So I would shortly say that the MBA program is for people who want to come from a specialist level to a general manager level, so from specialist to generalist. That means after concluding this MBA program, you should have a helicopter view to see all functions and be able to act as a general manager. And we in EBS are trying to help you to achieve all these skills, knowledge, and also, of course, very important values in order to take such a position. So the second question is who? So it is very important that you have already some working experiences. Very good if you have already working experiences in management, as middle manager, for example, or even on lower level. Then one very important thing is that all we are practitioners. So one important facet of this program is that we are sharing our existing knowledge, what we have achieved in our everyday working life, and will share this and also use and rely on some theoretical concepts. Without theory, it's also not possible. Then one very important thing is, of course, that on MBA program can study could study people from very different educational backgrounds. That means you can study whatever and then come and take MBA. It is not possible on all programs. So then the next question was how. And for this how question, You could please show the next slide, please. We are now on our hour. So we have divided our program in different semesters. And excuse me, the normal journey takes 2 years. And we start with normal fundamental knowledge of business administration. And we have their blocks. Let's call them models, like general management, organization, and also on the end you will have a block where you then can show what you have learned during these 2 years. The big part, second part of this journey consists of so-called nano degrees, where you can take whatever you like and need from marketing, from management, also from finance. And those are very, very flexible models, which will change every year. And they are fresh, and we will have teaching people from the industry in those. So I'm sure that you are finding something for your taste. And on the end, it is important that everybody will develop himself in the right direction. So next slide, please. Yes. So actually, I will then answer all your questions after we have finished with our monologuing part. Thank you for this short attention, and I will give word now to the next speaker. Thank you. Hope to see you soon in Tallinn.
Mike, our next speaker is Ülane Vilumets, alumna of Estonian Business School. Great to see you again, Ülane, not only in this virtual meeting, but also back in EBS.
Thank you, Otto, for inviting me. I'm always happy to represent the alumni of EBS because I thoroughly enjoyed my studies there. So I'll share a little bit of my experience about how I ended up at EBS and why I think it's been a really useful experience for me personally. My previous career before doing my MBA at EBS was in sales and sales management, both from Estonia and also from the US. And right before doing my MBA, I was working at Estonia's biggest real estate agency, first as their training specialist and later as a human resource manager. And I had come to a point in my career where I felt that, okay, like I've done everything that I could in this organization. I don't think anyone is going to promote me to the general manager here. So I was looking at different opportunities about what I will do and what I should do with my life. And I had met somebody who was studying at Harvard Business School, who was a very inspiring person for me and somehow got me really excited about doing an MBA in the United States. So I was on my way, basically to applying to different programs in the States. I had done my GMAT, I had done my TOEFL, and life is what happens when you're making other plans. So a longtime friend of mine came back from a round the world trip and said that, you know, I've been thinking, and by thinking, he meant Excel tables and like drafts of visual identity of turning our hobby project, which we had been running in tourism, into a real company. And he said, why do you have to go to the United States? Don't. And somehow I jumped on the bandwagon and decided to stay, and instead became an entrepreneur in Estonia. Decision which I have never regretted, but still wanted to get my MBA, so decided to do it right here in Estonia at EBS. And I've actually graduated from EBS twice. I've done my bachelor here and I've done my MBA here, But in the meantime, between those degrees, I have also studied in 2 other big academic universities in Estonia. So I have an experience from both the public universities and this nice little private business school. So back in 2011 or 2012 when I started, then my MBA was actually in entrepreneurship, which was very handy because at the same time I was starting up 3 businesses, all in travel, and everything that I studied could be directly applied to what I was trying to do in my real life. And just like Mike said, from being a specialist to being a generalist, so being able to actually oversee all the processes and all the fields of your business was something that was really, really useful for me. So some of the things that I feel that makes EBS a little bit different from some other establishments where I have been are mainly 3 things. First of all, it's a really good balance and a mix between theory and practice. And that means not only the content of the classes, but also the lecturers themselves. Personally, I'm not too excited about having a lecturer teaching me how to put together a business plan who has only read it in books, or who has never had the same experience themselves of writing a business plan or executing a business plan. In EBS, a lot of the lecturers are actually entrepreneurs or consultants who are consulting businesses on an everyday basis, not just from the academia. And I consider that a very important factor when choosing who do I trust to listen or who do I trust to learn from. The second thing what makes EBS a really nice school is that it is a private school. And I've always felt that the school was there for me as a customer. So when I go to the study department, I feel that people are actually there to help me. People are actually there to make sure that I, as a student or as a customer, will be happy. And that means that I don't have to look up information from somewhere myself. It's always very welcoming and friendly and very, very happy place to go to. So that's a big plus. Because trust me, in big academic universities, you will have to dig through everything yourself, and if you don't understand, you don't know where to go, it's your problem. And the third reason why I really liked studying at EBS was that you study with a bunch of people who are not usually very boring in their everyday life, or they've done something. They've done something interesting that will benefit you as well. And you study with those people. In each class, you will have the chance to learn from them, not only from the lecturer. So all that experience that comes from different fields, from different levels of organizations, of different backgrounds, it's something that I personally think is really, really useful. You may hire some of those people in the future. Some of these people may hire you to their companies, or you may start a business together. And I think that's what a business school is about, mainly. 10 years after you graduated and you hardly remember what you were told in class, you will still have that invaluable network of connections. And I surely still do benefit from that. So that's pretty much what I wanted to share today, and hopefully that's been interesting insight for you.
Thank you so much, Ilana. And I remember exactly what you promised me right after your 3rd child has arrived. You are going to join our visiting faculty as a faculty member, and that fits perfectly with what you just said about EBS family, having the people and members who have done something in a life instead of being just those so-called boring guys. Thanks again for sharing, Katri, the head of MA program. May we give a floor to you now to introduce the program you are taking care of?
Yes, thank you, Anto. Hello once more from my side. Maybe someone has joined in a little bit later. So I'm talking now about our second important master program, which is the MA program. And if we compare it directly to the MBA program that was discussed recently, then MA is a specialized master's program. So this is rather meant to people who are planning to become specialist senior managers in their selected specialization. And this is also a degree where we invite people who come directly from bachelor's degree, although our experience shows that our student groups are a very nice mix of people who have obtained their first degree recently, and also we have quite a bit of people who have graduated from their bachelor's a few years ago. So we have a bonus of having people in the groups who have real business experience, and we have other people who have recent academic knowledge. And why is the MA program, the classical master program at EBS, worth considering? First, it is a very practical program. Even though it's a sort of traditional 3+2 academic program, we try to create a balance of theoretical and practical side. We have teamwork discussions. The same faculty members that were mentioned in the MBA having practical experience as well as theoretical experience will be teaching also for the MA students. In MA, we have 25% of the study load as electives, so it is possible for you to complement your studies with elective modules or a semester abroad. So one of our recent developments in this program has been that we have started to promote exchange studies more intensively, because we consider this to be a very important asset that our graduates could leave EBS with. So on the slide in front of you, you see how is the studies organized across the semesters. MA program is a 2-year program, and it is a session-based program. So it is still possible to work besides studying part-time or full-time, depending on your abilities and motivation and grit. And the studies are organized so that in the first 2 semesters, you will study during both of the semesters 1/3 of your specialization, and then 1/3, 15 credit points in the first semester is what we call Advanced Business Core. So we want even our specialized master students to leave EBS with a good overall knowledge of business, so that you wouldn't be narrowly only a specialist in your own field, but you are a good partner on the managerial level to the whole company. And then in the second semester, there is the second third of your specialization, and the other half of the semester is dedicated to professional research skills. This serves a dual purpose. First, you need those research skills for academic purposes to write your final thesis, but also you will quite probably need ability to design good research in your professional work in the future, and also the writing skills that come together with this module are necessary. Then the third semester is dedicated to electives and nanodegrees, exchange, whatever you choose to do during this semester. So if you stay in EBS, you are able to choose from a variety of nanodegrees and electives. if you choose to go on a semester abroad, we have now changed the program so that if you select our partner university, we will transfer the full semester's worth of credit points. So you don't need to do precise matching of your courses. And then in the fourth semester, you will be taking the last third of your specialization and proceeding to finalizing your studies with a final thesis on the topic you have chosen. And this slide depicts our specializations. So there are 3 of them. Marketing and accounting and finance are taught in Tallinn, and management and leadership is taught in our Helsinki branch. And each of the specialization is composed of 3 distinctive parts: Nanodegrees, special 15 credit point modules. So in the marketing, we have built up the program on 3 pillars. You learn how marketing works, of course, which is the foundation for marketing. You learn how communication works, and I would like to put a lot of emphasis on the last but not least part of the marketing module, which is consumer behavior, because it's also important to know how human beings work. The accounting and finance specialization is a combination of 1 nanodegree in the field of accounting and 2 in finance. And John Paul will shortly after me introduce a little bit of the finance nanodegrees. And the third is management and leadership specialization in our Helsinki branch, which basically looks at the challenges of leadership and management on 3 levels. So we start with a global focus to see what's happening around us in the world of business, in the world of politics, how the digital environment has been evolving. Then we proceed to the organizational level to see how those changes influence organization. And then the third part of this specialization is on the individual leaders level to teach people skills of being a successful leader in their organizations. So this is a short overview of the MA program. If you have any questions, please feel free to write them to wherever you are following our webinar. And with that, I will give a word to John Paul to introduce a little bit of one specific part of the MA program. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Katri. As you opened up, EBS offers plenty of choice. The Nanodegrees is one way to go, but in cooperation with the partner universities, the choice is pretty much unlimited, and I believe everyone can design his or her own desired career and lifelong learning paths in here. However, our professor of finance, John Paul Broussard, is going to introduce a brand new nanodegree, Quantamentals, which a bit refers to data and maybe also related a bit to artificial intelligence. The data skills are quite needed and appreciated by the employers. So, John, how can graduates and their employers really benefit from the knowledge and skills provided by the nanodegree you are taking care of?
Okay, thank you very much, Otto and Katri and Mike for the introduction and the wonderful summary. The idea of Quantamentals, I'm going to specifically talk about one aspect that Katri mentioned in the finance area specialization. And the word Quantamentals is a manufactured word. It's a combination of 2 words. In the financial markets, you always have people coming up with new ideas of how to do things. And so Quantamentals is a combination of 2 investment approaches. You can think of quantitative strategies and you can think of fundamental strategies. And essentially that word Quantamentals is a put together of those two words. And when we think of quantitative strategies, to get back to the statement that you made about data and being able to use analytical techniques, the quantitative investment strategies are really rules-based strategies where you, as the decision maker, determine, okay, I want to invest in this type of security, I want to invest in this type of opportunity. And essentially what you do is you gather data, you analyze it, and then you program a computer to be able to make the decisions on that thought, on that rule. The benefit of quantitative strategies is that it removes the human emotion. So it's like you're sticking with what you know, or at least what you think you know. And it removes that emotion, and that's very important whenever we're in rough times like now. I mean, any of you who are watching, if you've invested any in the equity markets and really in the financial markets, your portfolio is down about 20% now. And I mean, it is what it is. And if you're not able to handle what I call that gut grenade, that's kind of a problem. The quantitative strategies, we remove that emotion. And so it's beneficial from that because the emotion is moved, but the detriment is that really it's going to make the decision whether or not you think it's valuable. That's where the fundamentals come into play. The fundamentals is traditional investment management, it's traditional decision making from a perspective of evaluating an opportunity's financial health. So the data that we use in quantitative strategies is a little different than the data that we use in fundamental strategies. And the fundamental strategies is essentially looking at financials, it's looking at financial reports, it's looking at financial environment, financial indicators of health. The issue is that the choice and the decision about what is valuable is somewhat subjective. Quant takes that subjectiveness out, fundamentals puts it back in. So the idea behind the concept of quantamentals, hopefully, is to be able to take the best of both worlds and to be able to use it in your decision-making toolbox as either an investor in a startup, an investor in an established market, or as an entrepreneur, because you're always making investment decisions. You're always making choices. And therefore, this particular Nano will put together all those tools that are valuable in the world. This is a global marketplace that we operate in. They're all valuable in the world of investing, they're all valuable in the world of corporate finance, and all valuable in startup finance too. So we are going to essentially, this degree, this compounded here is essentially going to put together some of the basics of data gathering, data analysis, and then decisions on that data, but from an investment decision-making process, with the idea that you're going to be making a more informed decision. And that's what we're going to be doing. It's just one component of a bigger pie, but I think it's an important component, and I welcome you to evaluate and investigate along with us at EBS how we can do that. So with that in mind, Antto, back to you.
Thank you so much, John, and thanks again for this brave initiative of creating something totally new. I sincerely hope that it attracts a lot of attention by our students. Our next speaker is Lina Reimann, the head of admissions, to take you through the admission process, which has promised should be, instead of pain, be a pleasurable or beautiful, enjoyable journey.
Thank you, Antto. I will take over from here and talk about admission now. I do hope that the previous presenters, the things they talked to you about and how they presented the programs, you feel more willing to do that and what to apply to EBS. As we discussed before, you have 2 programs, and In that sense, we have MA in business and MBA program. So they are both session-based. It means that your studies take place with some kind of sequence. So, for example, you have lectures from Friday to Saturday every second week. You can see on this slide also the tuition fees. For example, the Tallinn and Helsinki semester, the tuition fees are a bit different, and also MBA and MA program tuitions are different. The both programs are in English language. So you will be able to study masters in our school in English. And with MA program, as Katri mentioned before, you can study it either in Tallinn or in Helsinki. And MBA program, it's for now we offer it in EBS Tallinn. When it comes to MA program, there are specializations that you can choose from. So you have 3 specializations altogether. And with MBA program, you have different nano modules that you can choose from. So when you have 1-year MBA, you just take core MBA. And if you are doing 2-year MBA, then you will be able to basically design the puzzles of the knowledge that you want. So you will have nano modules to choose from. They will be updated more or less every year, but you will see the choice while you're applying. And it's our way to also show how we can change according to the change in the entrepreneurial environment and overall. So, and once we move along to the admission process, as I said, it's very step by step, and we try to support you while applying to EBS as much as we can. So if you wondered, how can you join us? And what do you need to do to actually start studying in autumn in EBS? First of all, you need to do the application. Application can be done either in SAIS platform, which is meant for locals. So when you finished your degree in Estonia, or in Dream Apply. So if you are an international student, you're from Finland, or you have studied previously. For example, you can be also Estonian student who studied abroad previously, then you choose Dream Apply platform. Both of them are online, so no need to do all the paperwork. You can just fill out the application, upload your educational documents, and then hit submit, and we will see your application. If you are going to be a bit carried away by all the steps you need to go through to apply to EBS, then you can also check out our webpage. There is a section that is called admissions, and there you can find everything step by step, the deadlines, what do you need, what documents you need, and how the application process goes. Then what you need to keep in mind is that every program also has program-specific requirements. So for example, for 1-year MBA, you need a master's degree or bachelor's degree at least, which had at least 240 credit points and 3 years of management experience. With 2-year MBA, you can apply based on your bachelor degree. It does not have to be a business degree. As Mike mentioned before, there are a variety of people with different backgrounds. You can study before that, like chemistry, engineering, marketing, whatever else comes to your mind. It's okay. And then you apply based on your bachelor degree. And also we require the leadership and management experience of 3 years. And for MA program is we ask you to have a business administration or economics degree previously. And if you don't have it, but you have, for example, professional experience, which covers basically the knowledge that you need in business administration, then you can also look, we have prerequisite subjects of microeconomics, macroeconomics, and financial accounting. So if you have done those, you can still apply. And if that did not make sense, feel free to ask me if your previous education is suitable for this program. Then moving along, we also require proof of your language level. So you can either present internationally recognized language test. We accept IELTS, TOEFL, or Cambridge. And there are also more specific points for that. And another option is to actually make an entrance exam in EBS if you don't have it. Or if you previously studied in English language in EU country, in US, UK, or Canada, then if you present your documents, we can also see if we can waive the requirement if you prove that your language level is enough for this program. And all the applicants go through the admission interview. Interview itself is around 20 minutes. For international applicants, we do it online. For Estonian applicants, we will do them online and offline, depending when you will take the interview. And basically, we will also inform you about that during the admission process. We are ready to do them on-site and also online, so this will be taken care of. And the aim of the interview is for you to know more about EBS, and also is the place where you can ask all the questions and also meet our head of the programs or lecturers. And we want to get to know you, and you can get to know us during the interview. And then you will receive the admission decision. It can be, for example, conditional acceptance, which means that something is uncovered. Some of the requirements need to basically still be presented. Either you don't have the language test, or some evaluation is not ready, but otherwise interview went well, or you have the full acceptance. So if you have a full acceptance, then basically we will inform you how to join our studies. And last step is signing the contract and paying the tuition fee. So all in all, it might seem a lot at first, but it's actually not so hard. And yes, if you will have any doubts, then feel free to tell me. About the deadlines, very fastly go over them. For local applicants, we will have 2 sets of interviews. So we will have them in May and in July. In May, the interview date is 27th of May, but your application has to be done in size till 24th. And in the July interview, it's 15th of July, and the application has to be presented on 12th of July. For non-EU applicants, the admission deadline is unfortunately over, and we have reached the part of the process where we are already doing the interviews. However, if you did not manage to apply this year, we await for your application next year. Nothing is unfixable, and we hope you apply. And for EU applicants, Russia, Ukraine, Belarus, Georgia, Turkey, Canada, and US, you still have an opportunity to apply. We await for your applications till 1st of June. So hurry up, you still have a bit less than a month to apply, and we will hold your interviews between June and July. And last bit of information about the studies. Something you need to keep in mind, our first study session is in August. So in the middle of August, from 14 to 15 in August, we have intra-weekend, and you will have to be present there. And I can tell you, you want to be present there because there is coaching sessions, and you will get to know your course mates, and also find a very valuable skills there. And as I mentioned before, study sessions are every second week from Friday to Saturday. And if the timing was a question to you, then they are from 10 to 5. They can change sometimes, but overall, this is the main thing that you will have to keep in mind if you want to start studies at EBS.
Thank you so much for sharing all those important pieces of information with us. There was a question for you as well regarding scholarships and funding your studies. So what are the options, and how should applicants go?
So if you're wondering how to finance your studies, then something you need to keep in mind is that you have opportunity to apply for scholarship. In EBS, the scholarships are the discounts from the tuition fees. So you will, this is for entrance the first year when you join EBS. So you can get a discount from the tuition fee as whole. And later on, once you are already on your study journey, If you study very well, then you might be awarded a scholarship, and also for active participation in EBS Life. So for example, if you help out in any project or you help out in student council, then there is an option to hope and apply for the scholarship. And another option is that if you are in EU or if you are from Estonia or EU and have a residence in Estonia, then you can also use our study loan option. So we have partnered up with InBank, and they will offer you a more like a study loan. So they will pay for your studies and you pay back to InBank. So it will be more flexible for you to pay for your studies, and you can maybe plan it a bit better how to support your studies at EBS.
And our guests have one more question for you. You are yourself also a student in our MBA program. What's the really difference in value of 1 or 2 year MBA, and are there any specific requirements for applicants regarding their choice between 1 or 2 year MBA?
So what would be, I myself am a student of 2-year MBA, and this choice for me was about what do I want to get out of the program. So for me, I think it's an incredible opportunity to go into lifelong learning. So you will be able to know more about specialization, or not specialization, you will be able to know more information in depth about some kind of field that maybe you did not have any opportunity to learn about before. So for example, marketing, or you want to manage data or something, and you didn't have an opportunity in your work field to jump into that topic, and now you have opportunity to choose, and you have so many different choices, and you can combine and design the puzzle for yourself of what do you need in the future, and where do you need the more knowledge in what field. So I think this is the value. And for 1-year MBA, I think this is an opportunity to actually get a perspective on different backgrounds, different people. My course mates are all from very different fields. I learn basically from every sentence they say something. I learn something new because I haven't been in their field of business, but I might know something about something else. So it's peer-to-peer learning 24/7. And the requirements, I mentioned the difference before. So 1-year MBA is more for people who already have been through masters or long bachelors. However, no one says that you cannot apply for 2-year MBA. If you want, it's your choice, and it's your opportunity to join the path of lifelong learning and learning more in depth about any of the topics.
Thank you so much, Liina. We have another question for Katri Kerem now regarding the supervisors. You have supervised vast amount of theses in your life. What is the policy on having a supervisor outside of EBS, someone who's not our faculty member?
Okay, thank you for the question. It is quite common to have one supervisor from outside EBS, so this is absolutely allowed, especially if a student is writing the thesis in a field where we don't have super good expertise ourselves. In this case, the department will assign a consultant to the student's thesis. The consultant is something like a second supervisor who will make sure that the thesis corresponds to the requirements set for a master thesis, and also to the EBS style guide and other nitty-gritty details that are important. But all in all, it's allowed to have an external supervisor.
Thank you so much. There's also a question for Mike Wahl regarding nanodegrees. Well, nanodegree is not really a degree, since It has quite little ECTS credits what it provides. However, how do you see, or what do you see to be the value of collecting or passing those nano degrees and the subjects or courses degrees consist of?
Thank you for this question. Yes, indeed, nano means something else, and nano degree is also not yet very common, but it is a valuable part. And if we normally have smaller chunks, learning chunks, let's name them in a way, then a nano is more consistent and has some better structure. So you can learn something, you can already learn something. If you have only one 3 ERP or 6 ERP course, then actually it is very small, but a nano can give you already something. And if you are collecting many nanos, then on the end you will have also a degree. It might be MBA or it might be an MA even. It depends how you are putting together this, somebody said, puzzle. So the value is that we put it together some things, some courses that are belonging together. This is the main value that I would say to that. Did I answer your question?
Well, I hope so. It was actually a question posed by one of our guests in Facebook or YouTube challenge. There was also a question about having a chance to enroll simultaneously to the courses which run in our branch in Helsinki and Tallinn. The answer is yes. Feel free to opt for all the courses you like in Estonian Business School. And this question is actually not a surprise, since quite many applicants I have interviewed personally have pointed out that one of their preferred places to study for a while is Finland or Helsinki. So now it's 2 more minutes till we need to close the session. I see there to be no more questions in the chat rooms right now. I'm well aware that many of you post some questions related to your professional and academic career so far. We are pleased to keep in contact with you, and we provide all the applicants also a personal consultation on which academic paths could you choose and what support best your desired career prospects. Ladies and gentlemen, dear speakers and friends, we would like to thank you for spending this 1 hour with us here in our studio. It was the very first information session. We're going to have the next one already tomorrow, devoted to all the bachelor program applicants. So guys, if you enjoyed our today's session and would like to share this information with any of your friends or colleagues who might be interested about our bachelor programs, I would very much appreciate you doing so. Thanks again, and enjoy your rest of morning, afternoon or evening wherever you are around the world. See you soon.
Thank you.